Start on Kuftas, Amid Aleph, that's 109a. And it's a little bit over halfway down. It starts with Ravina, talking about doing different forms of healing on Shabbos. One of the healing is to stop blood, to stop bleeding. And we said someone has a wound. We quoted Rav Hillel that he saw by Rav Kana that he can't use vinegar to stop bleeding. We're up to Ravina Klalabei Rav Ashi. Ravina came to the house of Rav Ashi. He saw that he was stepped on by a donkey. Doesn't sound very good. A gabed de kari on top of his foot. So a donkey had stepped on his foot, and he's trying to stop the bleeding, and he's using vinegar. Amalei. So Ravina says to Rav Ashi, you don't hold of what Rav Hillel said. Rav Hillel actually told it to Rav Ashi, that he saw it by Rav Kana, that he can't use vinegar. This is different. This is a wound that's on the back of the hand and on the back of the foot. That's very dangerous. I asked once a doctor about this. He told me he doesn't know why that should be more dangerous, wound on the back of the hand, unless it's because he punched someone in the teeth and he had what's it called, an infection without oxygen in aerobic. What's it called?
Anaerobic.
Yeah. So that would cause different sort of infection. But here was stepped on by a donkey. So, and it doesn't seem to matter what the actual wound came from. Just on the back of the hand or the back of the foot.
What's interesting is actually, again, it's conflictual, but I don't understand why, is a cut or a wound on the palm part of the hand is much more dangerous because all the under the fingers and the center of the palm, they're all connected. So one can have an infection in one part and can spread to the entire arm and end up the person needs to be in the hospital. So we always warn people, if you cut yourself or you have a wound on the palmar side, that needs immediate attention. The other side, though, cuts tendons easier, and then the person might lose function. So that's my medical, interjection. That's all. Bye.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
My lawyer speaking for me.
Okay. Some say that they saw that Rav Ashi was using wine, not vinegar. You see, the word chamra could mean a donkey or it could mean wine. They joked, they said it depends what type of kick you get out of it. So, but really in Aramaic, there's no way of telling what the word is because we don't have, even the vowels, I think, are the same. Chamra and maybe one's chamara. Okay. What about what Rava said? Ravina asks Rav Ashi. Rava said yesterday, the people from the city of Mechuzah came to Mefanki because they're finicky, they're delicate. So their skin could get healed even with wine. So Umar Nami Hamafanik. And Rav Ashi is you're very finicky. You have that sort of skin, that delicate skin. So what you're doing is healing. So he responded, yeah, you're right, that is an issue. But if it's a wound on the back of the hand, so that's a sakanas nefashos that I have to take care of. Okay, Damar Rav Ada Bar Masna, Amarav. Rav Ada Bar Masna says the name of Rav, Gavayad v'Gavaregal, Harehen Kemakar Shel Cholol. Mechal only as a Shabbos. The back of the hand is like a wound to the cavity of the body, to the internal organs, and that's considered something dangerous that needs to be you have to be Mechal Shabbos for. Okay, Taner Rabbanon. Starting in a brisa, talking about using salt water to wash yourself, maybe like different springs. Is that considered healing? Right, like hot springs or different sorts of bodies of water. Rechtzen b'mei gror, b'mei chamsan, b'mei asya, b'mei tveria, avalei b'yam gadol. On Shabbos, you're allowed to go into all of those things, into the water of gror, chamsan, asya. Sounds like Asia. I don't know what it is. Tveria. Asya could be, there could have been a city, Asya, the city of Tveria, but not in the Mediterranean. Mishra, and also you can't go into water that flax was soaked in. And you can't go into the Dead Sea. We spoke about that yesterday also. And into the Dead Sea, there's healing properties, and it looks like you're doing things for refuah, for healing on Shabbos. What we mentioned here is the ocean, the Mediterranean. The problem is, for a minute, we have a brisa that says you're allowed to go into the water of Tveria. I guess it means like the Kinneret, or maybe it means the hot springs. I don't know. You're even allowed to go into the Mediterranean, but you're not allowed to go into flax water or into the Dead Sea. Now, there's one item of this brisa that contradicts the first brisa. And that item is the Mediterranean. Kashi Yamagadal Yamagadal. We have a contradiction in the brises. One says you're allowed to go into the Mediterranean, another one says you're not allowed to go into the Mediterranean. Rabbi Yochanan like Kasha. Rabbi Yochanan says there's no problem. And Rabbi Yochanan's answer is a borrowed halacha from other topics, and he's using it to resolve a contradiction here regarding if it has healing properties, or if it's considered something that's only normal to do if someone needs refuah. He takes this machlekes regarding the status of oceans, if they're considered a spring or if they're considered a mikveh. The difference, there's several differences, but one of the main differences, can the water be flowing? And we have this issue with the canal. Can you be toivel in the canal? So rainwater cannot be flowing. Spring water is allowed to be flowing. It's called zeichlin. Zeichlin. If it's a mayan, then you can use zeichlin. If it's a mikveh, it needs to be bashbayr, and it needs to be still water. So here, and then there's all these other halachas that you can use a mayan to be mitara zav, not a mikveh. The water for the paraduma was a spring. The water that you slaughtered the bird and the purification of the mitzayra, you slaughtered the bird over this water. The water the blood would mix with this water. That was a spring water. So it needs to be spring. So what about the ocean? Is that considered a spring? So there's a machlekes. Now, what Rabbi Yochanan says, you have two brises. One goes like the opinion that says the Mediterranean is like a mikvah. Another one goes like the opinion that says that the Mediterranean is like a spring. So it goes like this. Harab Meir, Harab Yudah, the Tanan. We have a Mishnah. Kol yamim k'mikvah. All oceans are like a mikvah. That means that it has the special halachas that it needs to be still water, and you can't use it for those things, for the zav and the mitzayra. And shnemar ulemikvei hamayim karayamim. Now, if it's a mikveh, then there's no problem going into it on Shabbos. It's just a regular Mediterranean. It's just like any other pool of water. That's the Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yehuda meyama gadol k'mikveh. V'lei nemar yamim ela sheish bei mine yamim harbe. Rabbi Yehuda says that only the Yam HaGadol. So only the Yam HaGadol is like a mikveh. So he holds that the Yam HaGadol is different than all other oceans. Well, once he says that, then we have to make a distinction between the Yam HaGadol Mediterranean and the other oceans. Now, what Rabbi Yochanan is suggesting is that since Rabbi Yehuda makes a distinction between the Mediterranean and the other oceans, then so that would be also a distinction regarding Shabbos, that you're not allowed to go into the Mediterranean on Shabbos. In other oceans, you are allowed to. Okay, now we have another opinion here. Rabbi Yosi, he has like a mixture. It says, there's two halachas that you were talking about when it says regarding if it's a mayan or if it's a mikveh. One halacha is that it needs to be still if it's not a mayan, if it's a mikveh. The other halacha is that if it's a mayan, then you can use it for those special situations. So he says the oceans are like a mayan, that they're allowed to be flowing. But nevertheless, they're not a mayan for those situations. You need to get from a real spring. You have to go to Tzvas, the Rizal's mikveh. They get the real spring water. I'm sure there's others all over the place. So, okay. Maskefler of Nachman Bar Yitzchak. Nachman Bar Yitzchak asks a very obvious question. He says, Eimer de Pligelin Tuma Betara, on top of page 109. Maybe the machlekes between Reb Meir, Reb Yosi, Reb Yehuda that you're trying to use to resolve a contradiction, that's regarding purification processes. Linin Shabbos and Mishabbatlu. What does it have to do with Shabbos? Shabbos has to do with, is the water considered healing? That when someone would go into that water, he would only do it for healing purposes. Elam Rav Nachman Yitzchak Kasha Rav Nachman Yitzchak gives a different answer. Not that it's a machlekes. It's a different situation. How do we resolve contradictions? Either it's a machlekes or the situation's different. Rabbi Yochanan said it's a machlekes. Rav Nachman Yitzchak says the situation is different. Hadishtai, hadalay. Depends if you're going to soak in it or not. If you're just going in to cool off or whatever into the ocean, so fine. But if you're going to soak in it, that looks like you're already doing healing, and that's going to be aser. B'mayu kimta lebasraisa. How did you establish the second brisa that said that you're allowed to go into the Yam HaGadol? To lo yishtai, where you're not soaking. You're not waiting in there and soaking. So therefore, that's why it's permissible. The Gemara says, 1 second. Now we have a problem. We separated the two brises. One is where you're sitting in it and soaking, like a hot mikveh, you know, they soak over there. The other one is you're just going in and out, and that's allowed. So, if you're not waiting in it, so why did that brisa say that you're allowed to go into the Yam HaGadol, but you're not allowed to go into flax water? And how are you explaining it? That the Yam HaGadol is because you're not soaking in it. The Mediterranean, you're not soaking in the water. Why are you not allowed to go into the flax water if you're not going to soak? The Tanya, the Hatanya, start in a brayse. Rechtzen b'mei Tveria b'mei Mishra b'yam shel Sedayim. You're allowed to soak in the water of Tveria, the water, flax water, and in the Dead Sea. Even if he has scabs or sores on his head, and this would be healing for those sores. And he's allowed to go into all of those, even without, he's allowed to go in as long as he doesn't soak in there. So the brisa that you quoted, that says that you're allowed to go into the Mediterranean, forbids going into flax water. And here we have a brisa that allows going into flax water. And we said that's because you're not soaking. So now we have a problem with that brisa that differentiates between the Mediterranean and flax water. The Gemara answers, Ela yamagadala kasha. There's no contradiction. It depends which part of the water you're going into. Yes, there's certain waters in the ocean that could be dirtier than others. If you're going into the clear part, so then that's fine. If you're going into the dirty part, so then that's going to be usher, because that you would only do for healing. That answer that we gave before, it depends if you're soaking in it. That's an answer only regarding the flax water. Yeah, it doesn't. It's a little bit unclear at the end of this Gemara that you're allowed to go into clear water in the Mediterranean. It doesn't matter if you soak in that water. You're only allowed to go in when you don't soak. You're only allowed to, or the problem is soaking in there in the dirty water. It's a little bit unclear. Okay. We're up to a new Mishnah. And this is really where the Mishnah start, where the Mishnayos begin discussing the medicines. We had the medicines before. This is where it gets into all these herbs and stuff. So. Ein Eichlin, the Mishnah says, Ein Eichlin is Eivyin. There's two versions to this Mishnah. Some say that the Mishnah really wants to say Ezev Yavan. Some say that it's Ezevyin. It's maybe they quote a Ramban that discusses the Sambatian. And he says the Ramban writes that on like Arabic words they would add a yon at the end, like Sambation. If that's the case, then Ezov yon. It would just be like a Greek or Arabic word that where they just throw on these endings. Okay. You can't eat it on Shabbos because it's not a food that healthy people eat. But you are allowed to eat yayezer. We don't have any translations yet. We'll wait for the Gemara to tell us. Abuvruah. You're allowed to drink abuvruah. Okay, well, let's wait for that also. If it's any food, you're allowed to eat it. Even though you're intending to be healed, you're allowed to drink tea with honey, chicken soup, all these things that are an apple a day. So all these things you're allowed to eat because healthy people eat them also. You're allowed to drink any drink also on Shabbos. Even though you have intention for refuah, but it's a normal thing to drink, and you're allowed to eat that as well, except for water from palm trees and a cup of roots. Because that is specifically for probably jaundice. Made the column, but you're allowed to drink it. This made the column if he's thirsty. And you're also allowed to put on oil that had this root soaked in it, as long as it's not dula refuah. You mentioned somewhere about a certain type of oil that you're not allowed to use, because that's only for refuah unless you're very wealthy. Okay. Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef says, some translations here of herbs. Ezev. When the Torah says Ezev for different halachas, take Agudas Ezev by the Korban Pesach, by the first Pesach, Ezev in other places. So you dip the Ezev, Paraduma. You got burnt together, I think. So what is that referring to? Avrasa bar hamag. This is the herb that it is. It's a type of hyssop or grass. That's Avrasa bar hamag. What is a zovyon? Rabbi Yosef is translating. Avrasa bar hinig. The azov was used for the sprinkling of the paradum. Rashi quotes his teachers that say that it grows in like bushes. Okay, Ula Amar Marva Chivra. Marva is marar or mirai chivra, and it's a white sort of marar. I saw the Steinsaltz translates it as sage. Oh, it's a white sage. Okay. He's translating the Azav here. The Azav in the Torah. Ula ikla lebei Reb Shmuel bar Yehuda. Ula comes to the house of Shmuel bar Yehuda. Aisla kamei mirai chivra. They served him this. Amar haino Azav diksiv bar Ais. He says, this is the Azav from the Torah. It's the white sage. Rav Papi Amar Shumshak. Papi says that it's Shumshak. That's the Azav that it says in the Torah. Amar Rabbi Yirmi Midifti Kavaseder Rav Papi Mistabra. Rabbi Yirmi Midifti says that Rav Papi is logical. The Tanan, because we have this Mishnah. It says Mitzvahs Azav Shleisha Klachim. The way that you use the Azav is you have to have 3 stalks. Behem Shleisha Gevalim. And it's really 3 roots or whatever. On the roots, on the base, there's 3 branches, each one. And that's how it is on the shumshak, where you have each one has 3 branches coming out, and you needed 3 of them. What would they eat this for? I guess the Ezovian we're going back to. That was done l'kukiani, for intestinal worms. If you remember in Brachas, we had a chiddush that about eating flour, barley flour. We said over there that there's a big chiddush that you have to say a shahakal. So what's the chiddush? You make a shahakal even on fish brine or whatever. We said, no, the chiddush is that even though it causes intestinal worms, you'd think maybe you don't make any bracha at all. Kamashman, that you make a bracha. We said over there things that are harmful, you don't make a bracha on. This is not that you eat it and immediately that happens. This is you eat it and, it's not it causes that. What do you eat the zevyan with to get rid of it? With 7 black dates. What causes this? Mikimcha desari, flour, barley flour. The cholaflei arba yamin, that was ground 40 days ago. I guess you leave the flour around, it picks up the worms, and you eat the worms, and then ends up getting intestinal worms. But you're allowed to eat a yezer. My yezer, what is yezer? Putnak. Your yezer is putnak. What is that, Dr. Stein? Is that actually the herb that they say that this means?
It's pennyroyal.
Uh-huh. And is that a translation of one of these?
That's what it says.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
For putnak.
Uh-huh. I don't have a translation. I just have Rashi in French says it's fulol. Okay. Very nice. L'mayachle, what do you eat it for? La'arkasa, for worms and the liver. L'mayachle, what do you eat it with? Sheva tamri chivarta, with 7 white dates. Mimai have, what does this come from? Mi umtso maya liba rekna. If someone eats raw meat, it doesn't have to be, doesn't have to be raw. It could be that it's, just means that it's pounded, maybe like hamburgers. And it's cooked over the coals. Sometimes it's raw, sometimes it's cooked. But if it's eaten on an empty stomach, mibisra shmeina liberikanya, and it's together with water. That was the first thing. Or fatty meat on an empty stomach. You eat this, at the what's it called, at the weddings before the smorgasbord, before the meal. So this fatty meats. Mibisra detura liberikanya, or meat from an ox on an empty stomach. Miamguza liberikanya. Guza is a type of nut. Megiri rubia aliberekanya. And this is from branches of rubia's fenugreek. I don't know if I ever had it, although every Rosh Hashanah I go look for it because that's what it says. It's one of the simanim. Umishte maya basrei, and then he drinks water afterwards. This causes these liver worms, and then you have to drink or eat yayezer afterwards, which is putnak. Eily, if you don't have yayezer, or if it doesn't work, libala tachli chivarta, then you should swallow white cress. Eily, if he doesn't have that or that doesn't work, then leisi betanisa, he should fast. And v'leisi bisra shmeina, he should take fatty meat, v'lishti agumri, throw it on the coals. V'leimitz garma, v'ligmachala, he should suck on the bone of the meat, I guess, and he should drink the vinegar. Ikadar michalalai. Some say don't drink vinegar if you have intestinal worms. Mishum dekashila kavda. That's bad for the liver. I'm not intestinal, for worms in the liver. That's bad for the liver. Eily, if this doesn't work, then leisi gurda the asunta. You should take scrapings of a bush. Asunta is a sneh, is a bush. The gridim ilayla tatai that were scraped from the top to the bottom. Don't scrape it the other way, because dilma nafka aidipume. Maybe these worms are going to come out through the mouth. You have to scrape it downward. You should cook it in beer. This is these scrapings. Beish shivave, Rashi says, first pshat is bein hashmashas. Second pshat is by a neighbor's house. Just to be safe, cook it bein hashmashas at a neighbor's house. Cover both. Ulamachar, the following day, naskarun lenikvedi day. Also two pshatim. One pshat is that he has to cover his nose when he's going to be drinking this. Shouldn't smell it. The smell is harmful. Other pshat is that he should cover over all the openings of his body so that it should go inside him and it shouldn't get released. So it should do its job. Velishtain, he should drink it. V'chimafnei, and when he relieves himself, so mafnei afshicha de dikla, he should relieve himself by the trunk of a tree, of a palm tree. Okay. Now it says v'sheisin avavra. You're allowed to drink avavra. The Gemara says my avavra. The Gemara says, oh, that's chumtaria. Okay, my chumtaria. What's chumtaria? It says that's chutshi yachida. That's like a lonely staff, a single branch. L'may avdila. What does it do? What's its what is this herb? What does this cure? This is ligiluya. If someone drank water that was left open, and there's a concern that maybe a snake drank from the water, so you drink this, and this will cure you. Eily, if you don't have it or if it didn't work. So, leisi chamsha klili. You take 5 rose petals, I guess, or roses. V'chamsha kusta d'shechra, and 5 cups of beer. V'nishlukinu b'hadei adadi, and you cook them together. The kaima anafka, until it boils down to 1/4 of a lug. Boil it down to a small amount. Finish and then you drink. And then you drink it. Ema de Ravachtavai Barami. Is Yossi still here? Yeah. The mother of Ravachtavai Barami, Avdilelo Gabra Chad Klila V'Chad Kusta de Shikra. She made for this fellow 1 rose, 1 cup of beer, Shalka Vishkise. Cooked it up, gave it to him to drink. Vishagra Tanur, she lit up the oven, Garafti, but then she took the coals out of the oven. V'Svise Lebinse Begave, she put a brick in the oven so that he could be able to go inside the oven and sit there without getting burnt. So in other words, it was a hot oven. It's like a schwitz. Took all the coals out and gave him a chair. V'Nafa Kuhutza Yarka, what came out of him, I don't know which way, but what came out of him was like a branch, a green branch. It means he was cured from whatever the snake poison. Rav Avia Amar Revisa de Chalba Mi'iza Chivarta. A quarter, a revius of milk from a white goat. What is he saying? Is he translating Chumtaria? Or is he giving us another cure for this? I think he's giving us another cure. Rav Huna Bar Yehuda Amar Leisi Esrega Chalisa. Rav Huna Bar Yehuda says that you bring a sweet esrog. You carve it out and you fill it with honey. And you put it on the coals that are still burning. And he eats it. Reb Chanina Amar Meir Glayim B'nei Arba'im Yom. Okay, there's 2 pshatim here. Reb Chanina says that he drinks urine, that either urine that was left out for 40 days, or he drinks urine from a child that's 40 days old. 2 pshatim here. Now, regarding this, Barzina, which is a small cup of this urine, Lizibura is a cure for a wasp or a hornet sting. Revia, if there's a little bit larger than that, a quarter of a cup, a quarter of a lug, I guess, would be lakrava for a scorpion bite. And palga riva, half of a quarter. Riva must be the name of the measurement. Riva is the lug. So palga riva would be half a lug, lugiluya, for water that's exposed. That means that it was left overnight and it could be the snake string. Riva, if it's a full lug, I feel l'kshafa malo. If you drink a full lug of this urine, that can even cure witchcraft. Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, a nigrain, v'avnegar, v'tiraika. A nigrin we had before, that's like a beet water. We had a discussion about drinking that together with olive oil, which bracha you say on it. Apparently that combination was good for a sore throat. Here, a nigrin, avnegar, is some other grass that's soaked in it. And what's the third thing? Tiraika. It's like probably balsam or something. Malu bein l'gilui bein l'kshafmo. These things, these help for whether the water, it's exposed water from a snake bite or for witchcraft. Haiman de balachivya. This fellow, he swallowed a snake. This is the opposite of that. Whatever the other way was. It's getting
the
something
other
by
way.
a boa constrictor.
The other picture was so gross I couldn't show it, so I put this for the humor.
So this person's getting swallowed. He's not getting swallowed. He's swallowing a snake. Okay. So he swallowed a snake. What does he do? So look like shusa b'milcha. He should eat. What did we say? Kishus was. We said hops. Hops with salt. Is that how we translated kishus yesterday? Or is it a type of something like that. Velerate tlasamili, and he should run 3 mil. Rav Simi Barashi chazilu gavra the balachivya. Rav Simi Barashi saw someone that he swallowed a snake. So idmi like a parsha, he appears to him like he's a horseman, like a dangerous fellow or something, and he forces him. Uchlek shusi, feeds him this kishus, I think it means hops, and with salt. And he forces him to run 3 mil in front of him. V'nafik mini guvi guvi, and then pieces started to come out of him, the pieces of the snake. The Rashi adds a few words here. He says that the fear, together with the running and together with the kishus, that it causes the body to warm and kills the snake. The temperature of the body causes the snake to die. Well, it probably got his hiccups away, right? Yeah. That's okay. Ikad Amri. Some say this a little different. Rav Simi Barashi Bala Chivya. It was the opposite. Simi Barashi himself swallowed a snake. Ose Elio, and Elio came. Idmi Le Kaparshe appeared to him like this horseman. Uchlik Shusa gave him these kishas, these hops, the milk with salt. Va'ara take him tlas amili, and he forced him to run 3 mil. V'nafik mini guvi guvi, and these pieces of the snake came out of him. Haiman the Tarki Chivya. This fellow was bitten by a snake. Lacey Ubra the Chamri should take a fetus of a donkey. Chivarta, of a white donkey. Now, Vilakare, you should tear it open. Velusvil ilave, and you should put it on the bite. But that's only going to be if the mother wasn't a treifa. The mother donkey wasn't a treifa. Isn't that amazing? So looking at a donkey, if it's a treifa, make sure you have to check the lungs. Okay. Kahu bar kasha de pumpadisa de tarki chivya. There was an official in Pumpadisa that got bitten by a snake. It was a Jewish official. That was his job. Probably these things were like tax collectors or something. Bar kasha. Have a tleisar chamri chivarta bepumpadisa. There were 13 white donkeys in all of Pumpadisa. Karino lakulo, they tore them all open. Ishtachu treifa, but they were all treif. They couldn't heal them. They couldn't find the good fetus here that they could use. Have a chadar bahu gisa de Pumpadisa. There was one that was on the other side of Pumpadisa, Ada Ozli, until they went there, Maisile, and to bring it, Achla Aryeh. Got eaten by a lion. That was it. It's the last chance. Amalu Abaya said, Dilma Chivya de Rabbanan Tarki de Lesle Asuta. Maybe the snake that bit him is the snake of the rabbis that has no healing. That means he got it bitten. This is an expression that be careful from their coal or from their bite, because it's like a snake. The ksiv pirates gather yishchenu nachash. If he violates a law of the rabbis, if he violates the law, he should be bitten by a snake. It's an expression. The Ramah brings it, Daniel, if you remember in Hilchos Nida, there was a rabbinic law about 5 days. The Ramah quotes this: pirates gather yishchenu nachash. And this, even though it's like very rabbinic over there, the way that those days get added. So, but nevertheless, anyone that violates it, that's the rule. Should be bitten by a snake. Amalei, in Rabbi, yes, teacher, that's what happened. The Chinach Nafshi de Rav, when Rav passed away, it's interesting. Abaya several generations later, and this fellow was around when Rav was passed away. Kosar of Yitzchak Barbisna, the Leka the Lim Taye Asa Gidmi Lebehi Lula, Betavla. There was a decree that year, or whatever, after he passed away during that morning time. She says that year. That no one should take hadassim or branches to the weddings that go together with the bells, betavla, I guess. And he did. He made this wedding, or at a wedding, he brought hadassim. He ignored the decree of Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Bisna, how to mourn for the passing of Rav. Tarki Chivya miss. He got bitten by a snake and he died. Haiman the Karchi Chivya. One person that a snake was surrounding him. Right? Oh, Shrek, it's up to my neck. Right? Not that the poem. Boa constrictor or something. Linchis Lamai should go into the water. Belischef Tikula Aresha. And he should put a basket over his head. Now, over his head, I'm not sure if it means over his head, over the head of the snake. He's in the water. For Lahatke Mine, he should escape from it. Maybe no. Lahatke Mine. I think it means he should put the basket over the snake. So the snake should wrap itself around the basket instead of around him. When he escapes from it, you should throw the basket into the water, and he should get out. Okay, a way of getting, I guess the snake needs to be wrapped around something, so you replace it in the water with the basket. Haiman de mikni bechivya. Person, the snake is angry with him. If he has a friend there, so he does this trick. He should go on his friend, let his friend give him a ride, a shoulder ride or something. That way, the scent, his scent will be lost on the ground because his friend will walk him 4 cubits. The snake won't be able to find him. If he doesn't have a friend there, Lishaver Nigra, he should jump over a small ditch or a stream. If he can't do that, then he should go over a river. If it's at night, he should take his bed. He should put it on 4 barrels, so off the ground. And he should sleep outside so that the snake shouldn't come through the roof and jump down on him. He should take 4 cats. And he should tie them to the 4 corners of his bed. He should take twigs, and he should throw them over there. That when the snake comes, it's going to rustle the twigs. The cats will hear it, they'll eat the snake. If a snake is chasing someone, Lirat Bechalsa, he should run through a place of sand. Apparently, the person can run better in the sand than the snake can. This woman, the Chazi Chivya, sees a snake. This is interesting. It's a lot. The snake desires the woman for relations. Now she doesn't know if she says, I saw the snake looking at me. I don't know what he wants. So she has to figure this out. So what does she do? Tishlach mani v'nishte kamei. She take her garment and throw it in front of the snake. If the snake wraps itself around this garment, so then daite ilua, then his intention is on her, and he desires her. If it doesn't, it just leaves that garment. Then he didn't put his mind to her. He was just looking what's for dinner. I don't know if that's any better. So says Maita Kante, what should she do? The Shamish Kame. she should have relations with her husband in front of the snake. That way the snake will lose interest in her. Ikadamri, there are those that say, Kolshkin the Takaf Yitzre, the Yetzahara of the snake is going to get even stronger. Elatishkol mimazia mitufra, she should take from her cut hair and cut nails, vitishtibe, and she should throw it to the snake, vitema, and she should say, Dishtanana amanida. Very interesting. Hayitza the ayal bechivya. This is a snake entered inside a woman, into a private area. The snake crawled inside. So what should she do? Lifsa, she should spread out her legs. V'lesvuha tarti chavisa, she should sit on 2 barrels. V'lesi bisser shmeina, she should take fat meat. V'lishte agumri, throw it onto the coals. V'lese agona the tachlin, shake a bucket of cress. V'chamra richtena, and wine that smells good. Richtena has a nice smell, reach. V'lusvei hasam, and she should put it there. V'litrikina badi adadi, and she should mix that together. V'linkei tzavsa biyadi, she should take a tweezer in her hand. The chimeirach recha, the snake is going to smell that dinner, the meat and the wine. Nafik is going to go out. Vasi v'lishkalei. And it's going to go out. Nafik vasi v'lishkalei. She should then take it, the liklei benura, and burn it in the fire that was there. The Eily, because if she doesn't burn it right away after dinner, hadar ilua, it's going to go back inside her. Kala eichlin, all food. It says your person's allowed to eat any food. Kala eichlin lasei, what are we coming to include when we say that he's allowed to eat any food? Lasei tchol l'shinayim, spleen, which is probably something that's not eaten regularly, because it causes harm to the stomach. But nevertheless, spleen is good for the teeth. So because it's edible, it causes stomach pains, I guess, but it's still edible and it's still a food. So when a person has a toothache, so he's allowed to eat this. Toothache may be a special heter to eat anything, but this is, it's good for the teeth. The kashinim, which is translated as vetch, livnei miyayim. Now, kashinim is bad for the teeth, but it's good for the stomach. So he's allowed to eat that, even though maybe people don't eat it so often because it has that other harmful side. So it's considered food. Kolamashkim lasuyimai, when we say any drink is acceptable to drink on Shabbos, lasuyim tzlafim b'chaimetz, allowed to drink the water of capers, tzlaf, with vinegar. Amalei Ravina l'Rava, ma'alish tismei reglaim b'Shabbos. Ravina says to Rava, you're allowed to drink urine on Shabbos. We said urine had some cures before. Amalei tanina kolamashkin sheisim miraglaim l'shasuinsi. That's not considered real food, a real drink. Chutz made the kolim, you're not supposed to have on Shabbos water from a palm tree. Tana chutzmi made the karim. Some say that this is not made the kolim, it's made the karim that you're not supposed to have. Now, deker means to stab. Maybe the word dagger, like deker. I don't know. Mantan made the karim, shem deker mesamar. The one that taught that, it's because it pierces the gall. Mandam made the kolim. What does it mean, made the kolim? Sheitz means shnei dekali. Because it goes out between two palm trees. This sort of water. It's not like boiled palm trees. It's there's a spring that goes out in between the palm trees. And this water you're not supposed to drink. My made the kolim. What is made the kolim? So Maraba Barbruna Tarti Taloi Ikaba Marava. There's 2 palm trees in Eretz Yisrael. V'nafkeina demayim ibinayo, and there's water that goes out from between them. What do they have? These fancy bottled waters, very expensive. This could be one of those, I don't know, remember the names of them, but sometimes the people get these ideas that this is the only water they can drink. Okay, so this comes out from these two palm trees. Kisakama, the first cup of water, marpe, that loosens the stomach. Idach, the second cup that they drink, mishalshal, causes diarrhea. Vidach, a third cup, same way it goes in, that's how it comes out. It means it totally cleans them out. Amar Ula Ledidi Shasi Shechad de Babla. Ula says,
didn't we learn this piece before somewhere? How this cure of a drink. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
Brachas. We had something here, Brachas Daf Mem Dalet, I see on the side. Yeah, Ula says, Ledidi Shasi Shechad de Babla Yamale Minayo. I just drink Babylonian beer, and that's, what do you have there, Belgian? And that is even better than that. But that's only if you don't drink it regularly, you haven't drank it in 40 days, then this would also do the trick. Rav Yosef Aimer Zeisam HaMitzri. Yosef says Zeisam HaMitzri, it's a type of drink, the Egyptian Zeisam, and that's Tilsa Sari, 1/3 is barley, Tilsa Kortami, 1/3 is saffron, but Tilsa Milch, and 1/3 is salt. Isn't that interesting in this drink? They have a third salt. Rav Papa Matilsa Chiti, no, the third is wheat. This is a wheat sort of beer. Tilsa Kortami, and 1/3 is saffron. Tilsa Milch, and 1/3 is salt. The Kamaina, maybe it has cumin in it also. I used once my wife, the coffee grinder. So my wife was using some different spices. She used the coffee grinder for cumin. So I used it afterwards for coffee. So anyway, I offered a friend of mine, he wanted some coffee. He says, what is this? I said, it's Cuban coffee. He thought I said Cuban coffee. Anyway, so the Simanach Sisani. This is a simon to remember which opinion holds that there's barley in it. Because Rabbi Yosef is the one that has a samach in his name. He says that there's sari, that it's barley. Okay. As opposed to Rav Papa that says that it's wheat. You have to drink it in between Pesach and Shavuos. The kamet marpilei. If he's constipated, this will loosen him up. The rafi kamet play. And if he's has a loose stomach, this will tighten it. Okay, let's leave it over here.